Welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time to check out this new moon video. In this video, I'll be outlining the upcoming Aries new moon that's exact this Friday, April the 5th. For those of you who are new to this channel, my name is Ryver. I'm the intersectional astrologer and Reiki master of Psyche and Soul astrology. It's my mission to help you remain grounded and empowered while you accelerate your growth. And to do that, each week I create at least one video outlining upcoming astrological transits and giving you a tangible takeaway, some sort of exercise like a challenge of the week or question of the week to help you engage with the astrology energies so that you can practically engage in your own personal work. For all of you new subscribers, welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time to check out the video I created for Nadia Shah's channel, and thank you to Nadia for that wonderful opportunity. I'm really excited to have you as part of my growing community and really excited to be of service to you. So with that being said, let's dive into this video. Again, if you're new to this channel, I typically will throw up the chart either to one side of me or the other to show you a little bit of what it is that we'll be looking at. I'll outline a few of the kind of notable themes of the chart, a few different avenues to work with, and a couple of things you might expect over the course of the month in the case of this new moon. With it being a new moon video, I'll also throw out a couple of suggestions for new moon intention setting, whether you do that ritually or just as something that you think about over the course of this moon cycle. And of course, I'll have that tangible takeaway for you at the end of the video, so you're definitely going to want to stick around and check that out. So with this Aries new moon cycle, we have Saturn ruling the whole chart. That's because we have the sign of Capricorn rising at the moment of the full moon. We also have the sun and moon together in Aries, right? Because it's a new moon. And those two luminaries, the bright lights in the sky, are going to be squaring Saturn and Pluto and the South Node. And I'll unpack that for you in just a little bit. The big theme that you can keep in mind for this whole video, and as you're thinking about what you might want to sow intentions about or call in to manifest, is the difference between fighting the past and defending the future, or defending against the past while fighting against the future. It could really go either way depending on whether or not you are optimistic or realistic or a little bit cynical about what's coming up. Now, there are a couple of different ways that you can really personalize this, and I can certainly help you with that if you're interested in booking a private session. I always include the booking link and my website link and all that stuff down in the description box, so you'll want to check that out if you need a little bit of help or assistance or just are excited to hear another person's take. If you are fluent in astrology, you'll want to take a look at the house where the sun and moon, this Aries new moon, will be landing in your chart or transiting your chart. And you'll also want to take a look and see where is Aries, where's Mars in your chart, what are they doing? Because that will help really inform how it will land for you specifically. But for everyone else, this kind of general take about this fighting against the past and defending the future is really going to help you figure out how you can make the most practical, tangible use of the energy in achieving your own dreams and unlocking your potential. Now, the last two things that we'll talk about with the chart before I dive into my general take and get you to that tangible takeaway is that Mars will be ruling the new moon itself, since the sun and the moon will be falling in the sign of Aries. So that will definitely bring a really active quality to this Aries new moon cycle, and also set us up for a pretty dramatic shift in the middle of the month as Mars and Mercury begin talking. And again, if you have seen Nadia Shah, the video I made for Nadia Shah about Mars moving through Gemini, you'll know a little bit about what's going on there. And if you haven't, I'll throw up a card up in this corner so that you can check out that video. I talk a lot about how the month of April as a whole will play out because of Mars being in Gemini and Mercury eventually moving into the sign of Aries. So that's really the main stuff that I'll talk about there. So we'll drop the chart down, talk to you face to face for a minute, and then get you to that tangible takeaway so you can really hit the ground running in your own personal work. The big thing that I notice with this chart and with the new moon in general, and especially the vibes that have been going about this week, is that there is a really dynamic tension between feeling called to the past or pulled into the past, or themes and patterns that came out of the past suddenly showing up again, with a really, really intense desire to just hit the ground running towards the future. Now, the trick with that is that when we're really, really obsessively focused about wanting to be there already, wherever there may be, and however soon already may be, it really distracts us, I think, from being in the present moment and engaging with what is, especially the opportunities and the abundance that we are presently experiencing. And so I highly recommend for everyone, especially if you're the type who sets intentions with the new moon or conducts ritual with the new moon, to, before you start that process, really take a minute, because Mars is in Gemini, so it wants to be quick with it. Take a minute, 5 if you can, 10 if you want to challenge yourself, to just be in your body, be in the space that you're in, like smell the roses behind you, hear the songbirds chirping, and just sink into the present moment. Now, that's advice you could take anytime, but especially before calling in new energy, I recommend you get really, really comfortable with the now energy. Now, a few other things that we can kind of expand upon with that, regardless of whether your sun sign is, or your moon sign, or your rising sign, is that the Aries new moon, the sun in Aries is super, super, super happy. The only place where the sun does better, and even that's a little debatable, is the sun being in the sign of Leo, the sign that it rules. But there's a second type of strength that planets or the luminaries, the sun and the moon, can experience in a chart, and that's called exaltation. And that already sounds pretty cool, right? Exalted sun in Aries, which just means that the sun really vibes well in the sign of Aries. I mean, just think about what it's like when spring happens if you're in the northern hemisphere. The sun starts to get longer and stronger. Trees and flowers and all sorts of things start blossoming and blooming. All sorts of creatures are like getting it on, getting ready to do their whole year. And that's a lot of what an Aries new moon can bring for us, is this opportunity to really revitalize, start new processes, and it's got this really sort of catalyzing energy to it. And so I always myself find that calling in new things and manifesting new things is especially powerful and potent with an Aries new moon as compared to, say, like a Scorpio new moon or the Pisces new moon that we had a little while back. So with that different vibe, I really recommend that you call in what it is that you want to create, what it is you want to see. And what I mean by that is there are often a couple different ways we can go about things, right? If we have a goal, let's say, for instance, of going to the gym, we might see it as, I want to stop being lazy. I want to stop not going to the gym, right? That's kind of like a weird double negative way of framing it. But it reminds me of this little saying that I heard before. Maybe aphorism would be the right word for it. I had someone when I was a lot younger tell me, the universe doesn't hear your no. And what they meant by that, and they kind of expanded, if you say to the universe, I don't want to have a crappy job, all the universe hears is, I want crappy job. And then here you go. You've got another job you're not super keen about. But if instead you say to the universe, I want a job that leaves me feeling fulfilled, it hears exactly that, and then it gets you a job that leaves you feeling fulfilled. And so especially with the Aries new moon, my big sort of caution for this video is to call in what you want, as opposed to seeking to end the things that you don't, which is why I started out the talking part of this video with really being mindful of the difference between fighting the past and defending against the future. And instead finding that kind of sweet middle spot, middle road, where you are really calling in what it is that you want. And more powerful than that is calling in the action and the state of mind that is being where you want to be. And so for the Aries new moon, I always try to, and I recommend that you try, whether it's new to you or the way that you always go about conducting new moon rituals or setting new moon intentions, to choose a method that lets you be and do what it is you want more of. So for instance, if you want to start working out, then put on your running shoes, put on your gym clothes. Even if you don't get to the gym that day, you're showing the universe, this is what I want, and you're backing it up with action. And you're also showing your own brain, right? You have to make those neural connections in order to start a new habit or a new routine. And the Aries new moon, I think more than any other moon cycle, is all about bringing in the new. And so as you're thinking about, what is it that I really want more of? What is it that I'm really excited to see or do or start this year? Get centered, get present in the now moment, even if it's just for a second. And then determine, what is it that you can do that's really immediate? Whether it's something that you do every single day or just Friday, April 5th, or for some people it might be Saturday, April the 6th, but I think for most of us in the world, we'll all be kind of synced up with April 5th as this new moon day. I'm gonna let this plane go overhead and I'll talk to you again in a second. So, with this particular moon cycle, whether you're calling in a big new project or just a new way of behaving, even if it's just for the month, I really recommend, and this is, back up, because Mars is ruling this new moon cycle, because Mars rules Aries, right? And in this chart, Mars is in the 5th house in the sign of Gemini. I think there's sort of a secret back door that a lot of us can use in order to access the power of this new moon and sort of work with the tension that comes because the new moon is squaring the nodes, it's squaring Saturn and Pluto. So there could be this tension between the intensity of our feelings about the past, the intensity of the reckoning that our various countries might be experiencing on a kind of public and political sphere, and the tension that comes from being really entrenched in structures, especially the structures that we spent a lot of time creating ourselves. If you think about how long it takes to build a new business, say, and you find yourself realizing that you need to tweak your branding, it can take a lot of extra energy to tear down the structures that you built to make way for new things. And so again, with that, I really recommend that you view that moment, whatever project or thing that you're working on in your life, wherever these planets are landing in your chart, to view it as an opportunity to bring in the new rather than a need to escape the past or destroy the past. Because, anybody who's really taken a long time to strive towards a big goal, most people will tell you they failed a bunch of times. And the point isn't that you failed. The point is that you failed and then you moved on and you built upon those failures until you came to a place of success, even though that sounds kind of weird. And so the thing that I recommend has sort of that like backdoor or astrology hack for this new moon cycle is to do things that are fun. Mars is in the 5th house, so we've got the planet of vitality and energy and passion and pioneering in a house that's about recreation, sex, games, competition even, and it's in a sign that's about communication and the gathering of information. So, if you like to go to trivia night, find a friend and go to trivia night. If you like word games, then, do a crossword puzzle or something before you do your new moon manifestation, because I think being in that mind state and being in the flow of action that's about using your intellect and your mental faculties in order to have fun and experience joy will really help you shift your perspective towards the things that you want more of, as opposed to the things that you would really like to not experience anymore, especially after this long, drawn-out Mercury retrograde cycle that's been pretty tough for a lot of us. And so that's it. I want to keep this one short and really give you the opportunity to focus in on the tangible takeaway. And so for this week, I am issuing a challenge of the week, one that you can repeat if you like up until the full moon, and then I'll give you a new moon, I'll give you a different moon video that is for the full moon of this Aries moon cycle. And then I will give you a question of the week to really work with the rest of the cycle. Oh, but of course there is one last thing that I want to say, and that is that Mercury is still in its shadow zone and still moving pretty slow, both on the day of the new moon and a little ways into the moon cycle itself. So with the first quarter moon a week from the new moon, right? The sun and moon are together like this. A week later, we get that first quarter moon that presents to us a challenge and a bit of feedback about how our new moon intentions are going. That whole time, Mercury will still be traveling in territory that it's been in before this year. And it won't be until just before the full moon that Mercury moves into new territory. So again, check out the link up there or down in the description box. Check out the video that I created for Nadia Shah's channel, because I talk about how the overall energy for the month of April will shift as Mars in Gemini and then Mercury and Aries are in mutual reception, and a few ways that we can really work with that energy. So your challenge of the week is to do new things that you always thought were fun. And I especially challenge you, if you're up for it and you choose to accept, to choose something that you've never done before that's even a little bit scary. I think that will really help to show the universe that you are up for the big challenge, that you are committed to whatever new thing it is you're calling in, and really set the tone to make the effort of bringing something new into being fun and enjoyable and exciting in your lives. So that's it for the Aries New Moon video. Again, I want to thank you for taking the time to check this out. Whether you're new to this channel, a new subscriber, or a longtime subscriber, I really appreciate all of your support. If you are interested in booking a private session, the link is down below. If you would like to support me in some other way, it means a lot and it does a lot if you just give the video a simple thumbs up, or if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button down in the corner, ring the notification bell so that you can see these videos as soon as they are ready. And of course, if you would like to share how your challenge of the week is going or what you've chosen for your challenge, you can find me on any of the social media platforms down below. Instagram, Twitter especially, also Facebook. Use the hashtag armchairastrology or tangible takeaway, and I would love to hear how those things are going for you. Thank you again so very much. Until we meet again, much love to you and best of luck with all of your endeavors.